Ole Naas from Norway and Ichinoue from Japan. Ole has been training here all week. I've had the pleasure of watching him prepare, both mentally and physically, and I know that he is out for a good time. He is 10K specialist, and it will be very interesting to see what time he can lay down tonight. Naas able to get a little bit of a draft, as this is a 25-lap race. You have no idea how much that can help. Both skaters settling in, coming on strong with a 31-2 opening lap. 800 meters skated of this 10,000 meter race. Getting another draft. It's a little bit of a game of cat and mouse at this stage. 1,200 meters skated. Both skaters kind of trying to find their own rhythm, but obviously very aware of what the other is doing. You see Naas with 6 strides in that straightaway. Really settling into an efficient rhythm. Bumped it up to 8 for this backstretch going into the outer. And Citaro hugging that inner, hoping to carry and build that speed for this inside lap.
Solid 31s in the last lap. 31.3 again. 31.5. I'd say it's a great smooth rhythm to start on. Citaro set up a nice little draft for himself here. Look at that, right in line. Looks like a team pursuit. It's a good feeling early in a 10K.
Both skaters holding steady 31s. Looking very strong. You can see their coaches on the backstretch yelling little tidbits of information or encouragement. Citaro going nice and deep into that inner.
Really good, smooth technique by this Norwegian skater. Looks really good. Looks like they have a World Cup suit on. I'm not sure if they're a World Cup skater that I have overlooked during my career. But definitely go out on a pace that, just for reference, I would be 2 seconds slower per lap right now in this type of race.
And just for reference, I ended my 1,000 meter this morning only about 7/10 faster per lap than these fine young gentlemen, and they are skating 25 laps in a row. The 1,000 meter is obviously 2.5. So this is a blazingly fast race, and we know that the pressure has been dropping. This is one of the last days of finale. This may be their last race. They're really looking to throw down a solid time and lay their heart on the ice here.
You mentioned earlier, Anastasia, when you have that perfect race in speed skating, it's really that intoxicating feeling. And do you think that these guys are just so excited to achieve that intoxicating feeling as they move towards the end of this race?
Well, as it is, hashtag finally finale, I think that they have a good opportunity in a lot of areas to find that feeling. The ice is fast here, and if this is their final race, I think they may have some celebratory champagne, hopefully cheersing a good season. I know that here at the Olympic Oval, we have been very happy and inspired leading up to Korea. We're halfway through this quadrennial, and it's kind of that time to not get back down to work, but we're looking forward to the future.
These two having a great racing. It looks like Ticino is very much pacing himself off of Ole Nas. Lap times very similar. They both dropped to 32s at the exact same time. Their lap times were within a tenth. Sataro wants another draft here.
You can tell that he's let up, but there's going to be a little bit of a crossover issue. Getting a little draft. Going into that inner, Ole is going to start building as we're coming up to the 5,000 meter mark. Excuse me, 4,800.
That's right, and as they come down this straightaway, at the end of this straightaway is officially halfway through this grueling long 10,000 meter race. So far, 32.5 is their slowest lap time. It's been really impressive so far. That would be a great 5K time. It'd be approximately 6:36.
Denny, tell me, do you, obviously you're not naturally a 10K skater, but you have had to race them at World All-Arounds multiple times. What do you think going into this race?
I get nervous for this race because I don't totally feel prepared for it. I think of it sort of as a flush of the legs after a 1,500 meter, which usually is at World All-Arounds the same day as the 10K. We do a 10K following the 1,500 meters, which is one of the hardest days of any speed skater's life, which is why the World All-Around Championships is such a hard competition. So yeah, if I qualify for the 10,000 meters, then I look at it as sort of a flush of the legs, because if I stay aerobic, then I'll actually work that lactic out of my legs. Unfortunately for me, typically I hit the aerobic zone. I too anxious, I drive a little bit too hard early in the race, spike the lactic, and once you do that, the lactic never really comes back down.
Now this is the time we can see that Ole's gotten a little bit higher, a little bit of fatigue setting in. His strides are shortening up just that extra little ounce. His hips are coming up. What is he thinking now? What is his coach saying, Denny?
That's a tough call. You can compare him to his pair. His pair is keeping things pretty nice and light, staying in that aerobic zone, right? Earlier during that near crossover problem, Sataro had the opportunity to either attack the inside turn to avoid the crossover problem or let up a little bit to avoid the crossover problem, whereas I would have probably attacked it, spiked my lactic early. They chose to relax and keep it nice and aerobic, and that's paying huge dividends at this point in the race. For Ole, you can see they're just pushing a little bit at the end of the stride. That's using a little bit more muscle, a little less of the heart. That's going to create a bit more lactic, and that's going to have the opposite effect. And we might see some drop off in those lap times. 32.31 for Sataro and 33.2 for Ole.
See the shoulders dipping a little bit in Sataro. With that being said, these skaters have just a little more than 3,000, a little less than 3,000 kilometers. 3 kilometers, 3,000 meters to skate. Keeping it nice and flat. Citaro dropping a little bit, and Ole with the counterattack.
Yeah. Now have to imagine if you're graphing their lap times, even though Ole hit the 33s earlier, Citaro's dropped more sharply to a 33, which can be an indication that there's more lactic. But that's the fun part of these races is having a little bit of the background knowledge, knowing that perhaps Ole has the chase now. The tables have turned. Citaro was having the chase for the whole race. It's always nice to have that chase. But 33.14 last lap for the Norwegian and 32.80 for Citaro. Head down. Looks like keeping it smooth though, keeping the technique together. You can see, again, that attack by the Norwegian. He won't let him go. The Norwegians are known for their long distances. I think this will be an exciting finish. A really good chase on the backstretch here. Norwegians actually looks like he has a second wind. Working this outer. He knows he has to stay with them.
And they are on par, 33-0. This has been an exceptionally flat race, dare I say.
Ole has a tough choice here on this backstretch with his pair coming out on the inner lane. Looks like he's further ahead. It can be really demoralizing. Or he can choose to attack it and try to build more speed. It looks like he's done that. He's closing the gap a bit. His goal now is going to be to avoid a crossover problem so he can continue his momentum into the last laps of this race.
With 2 laps to go.
It's another good chase. You can probably tell now that he's going a little bit faster than his pair. That gives you a lot of confidence to carry the speed in this outside turn. I bet he's hungry. He wants it. He wants it.
Citaro not letting up, though. He is really impressing me with just his efficiency on those straights. He's definitely fatigued, but he is not giving up.
Yeah, like I say with the strategy, Citaro they're both back in the 33s, but again, if you were to graph the race, it's been a sharper drop now for Ole, and perhaps that lap time will be shown on the upcoming split in 100 meters.
And with 1 lap to go, both skaters. Citaro crossing over at 12:59, 13 minutes flat for Ole Naas.
They heard the bell. He's working the chase. They're both going to be working hard now. Citaro looks like he's going to have a bit more punch at the end.
Great last inner.
A good pairing.
Very good pairing. This is a great 10K here at the Olympic Oval finale.
They use each other well, and you can just tell he's just slogging across the line. Feels so good to finish at the end of that race.
Citaro crosses in 13:31.90. Ole Naas 13:33.50. 2 very competitive times. And in our force quartet, we have Ian Quinn, Hamish Black, Croyer, and Elliot Nelson. I talked to Hamish extensively this morning. He was very happy with his 5K result yesterday. Big personal best, 6:37. He's just so grateful to have the opportunity. He's had a fantastic season, learned so much, and he's just ready to have fun. Really going to try and hit the 32.7 lap times. Kind of settle in. He's got a great plan with his coach Todd McClements, and he's fired up. He said that with a big smile on his face. He just loves the sport.
Hamish was our commentator a few days ago. Now on the ice, he and I have traded positions for the races this Saturday. In our second half of the quartet, did you introduce Elliot Nelson and Runar Koyer?
And this looks to be a good matchup for Hamish. It's always fun to skate against an American or an international skater. A little bit fast from what he thought, 32.3, but he can settle in nicely. He has it all planned out. Once again, just as yesterday, he wants to say thank you to his hometown, all his family and friends watching back home, and his coach, Ian Henniger. He's just been on such an upward swing this year that he's looking to finish off the season nice and strong, and I believe that he can do that.
Hamish crosses in 32.43, a 32.69 by Ian. Early in the race, nice and flat. That's a good thing to see. It's tough when you see a fast first lap and then a quick 1 second drop, as is so common. So a really nice start by Hamish, and hopefully he's found his rhythm early. That's going to pay off massively towards the end of the race. Looks like he has a great pair, pacing each other, helping each other, attacking the inners, and working the draft.
Hamish has really started to use his body weight well. That was a big thing that he was working on this season. There we see Elliot Nelson looking nice and relaxed. Elliot, coached by Todd McClements, also a teammate of Hamish, part of the Wrecking Crew. And with 21 laps to go, they also look to have a very good pairing. It is fun to see kind of North America battle it out. Historically, we have not been as strong as some of the European countries, especially the Dutch and the 10K. So to see us make great strides, both in the States and Canada, is fun. I think we have become much more competitive across the board in this distance. Obviously, Elliot and Hamish having fantastic role models in Ted-Jan Bloemen, who just destroyed the 10K world record, and Jordan Belchos, who is very competitive, had a great World Championship showing this year. Hamish a little bit quick, was aiming for 32.7s, but sometimes you just got to go for it. And he's settled into that low 32 zone quite well.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Hamish. Looks like he's got a great pair. He's using his pair, staying nice and smooth. He looks good. He looks really confident at this point in the race. Just got to hold it right there. Easier said than done, though, I can tell you that much.
A little bit of a negative split, 32.0. And Elliot looking nice and relaxed, entering into his corners well. I can't even imagine 50 corner entries and 50 corner exits in this race, how much that has an effect on how you carry and build your speed.
Well, if you imagine, if you miss a corner entry, I think there's an immediate 0.1 miss in your lap time or drop in your lap time. And if you miss 2 in a row, I think it's compounding and it can become exponential. So the importance in this race of hitting your corner entries is something that was demonstrated beautifully by Ted-Jan Bloemen at the Salt Lake City World Cup when he nailed everyone. He was in a perfect rhythm. His third last lap was almost identical to his third lap in the 25-lap race. And he skated a world record, destroying the old world record owned by Sven Kramer, crushed it by a full 5 seconds.
We are very lucky to train with him. Hamish coming down a little bit. He let it slip, 32.7 down to a 32.4. Negative split.
See his pair at a 33. You hope he's not basing now too much of his race on his pair, as his pair might be letting up a little bit. Hopefully Hamish just maintains the rhythm he's on and keeps attacking the exits and doing what he's doing so far. Hamish probably wondering right now, where's my pair? Will I get a little bit of a draft here, or should I keep rolling through this turn. Elliott looks like he's in a nice rhythm. His last lap, 33.24. Let's compare that to the upcoming lap time. There's a bit of a chase with Runar Croyer. 33.24. Now to 33.4.
Keeping it steady. Hamish keeping a nice steady pace. And Croyer looking quite strong coming out of that outer.
You can see in comparing the lap times of Ian and Hamish that they're really wanting to use each other and help each other, right? And so the previous lap, Ian was in a 33, Hamish was 32 mid, and this lap they're 32, 9 and 8, and this lap now they're even closer in lap times. That's almost the subconscious using of your pair, where you just, without even really imagining it, you just demand almost that you stay with your pair and that you expect your pair to stay with you. And it can be really helpful or it can be hindering. Looks like these two are working together well.
Croyer pulling ahead a little bit of Elliott. Elliott really needs to just race his own race. He's looking good, looking strong and relaxed. 10K isn't necessarily his 100% focus, so if he attacks his own personal goals and keeps a technical outlet, I think that he can have a really great race here too. He's looking very relaxed coming down, leading up to 5,200 meters.
Looked really relaxed and smooth coming through that split time. Relaxed in the face, focused on his breathing.
And Hamish keeping it under 33, 5,600 meters. We're over halfway of this race. And you can hear Todd McClements on that backstretch yelling words of encouragement. He's all fired up, obviously believes deeply in Hamish's potential.
Hamish now can see his other pair in the quad ahead of him at the straightaway. That might distract him a little bit from his pair and might help him increase his lap time or decrease his lap time to go a little bit faster, chase down that pair ahead of him, and continue rolling through this good speed.
And Elliott maintaining a good rhythm. You can see that he's breathing. A little bit of a negative split there. He just needs to run his own race. These two, this is a fantastic pair. Quinn and Black right with each other. Hamish with the opportunity to get a little bit of a backstretch draft. Still under 33. Croyer looking very strong.
Here comes Elliott through the 6,000 meter split. 33.66. Holding nice and steady in the 33s.
Hamish dipping over, still under 33.
This pair is getting a little bit ahead of him now. Hamish got to stay focused on the technical stuff, not get too excited.
And Denny, let's just touch on the fact for 1 second here. There's actually not that many opportunities to skate 10Ks. So how hard is it to get good at this distance when, you know, you only get the opportunity to race them maybe 3 times a year?
Yeah, and one of the hardest things about 10Ks is the mental aspect. You can be physically all there. You could ride a bike down a street at the right wattage and aerobic level in your threshold zone without any problems. But when it comes to speed skating, your mind plays lots of games. You can lose your technique, and you lose a lot of speed that way. And so it becomes a huge mental battle, and it's just such a long race. There's just so much time to think and to talk yourself out of doing it.
Hamish dipping over the 33-second mark there. little more than 2,000 meters to go.
Hamish having a really good race so far. I think this is going to be a big PB.
And like we have said, Hamish is so brand new to this sport that it is just dumbfounding to watch him make the strides that he has made. I mean, physiologically, he has laid a great foundation. His aerobic capacity is comparable to the best in the world. And his challenge right now is just to become the best skater that he can. Obviously, he is under some phenomenal coaches with wonderfully world-class and world competitive teammates. Leading up to Korea, we are just under 700 days until the next Olympics, and that's the challenge, is to always strive to become technically better. And Hamish is ready for that opportunity and that challenge.
Hamish and Ian now catching the other pair in their quad. That can be a big advantage. Being able to see yourself moving past others. We'll see if they can keep that steam train rolling as they pull ahead here.
Elliott, seeing that he's tightening up just a little bit. Timing has blitzed out just for a second. Hoping we can get it back here. We will have our own personal stop watches on Hamish and Ian Quinn. Elliott Nelson. Here's Quinn.
Elliott might get a little bit of a nice draft here, maybe gain his rhythm back while Hamish is pulling out front from the other pair. Can be always nice to have that person in front of you to help you regain your rhythm in this long of a race.
And Quinn comes around. Lap time of 32.1. That was from my cell phone, so I apologize if that's a little fast, but
Hamish on 33.3 now. Looks about similar with Elliott.
and he might get an opportunity to get a little bit of a draft here. Hamish with both arms down, just fighting for absolutely everything. He has such a wonderful spirit. A pleasure to watch because he always brings it and lays his heart on the ice.
Such a strong engine, too.
Just wants it, you know? That's exactly why we love to watch him skate. Hamish driving to the finish.
Oh,
He's
it's like
gonna
a big
come across.
negative.
13:42.
31.6 last lap. Very impressive. Hamish is 13:42.52, almost exactly 1 second behind my personal best, which is from 2006. So a really impressive race by Hamish, who I believe this is only his third or maybe even second 10K.
I believe it may be his fourth. Now, Denny,
Elliott crosses in
Elliott.
14.0.
Elliott 14:00:23.
Showing a little frustration. He definitely wanted that sub 14. But I think a pretty flat race nonetheless.
Good fight by Hamish. We'll have to talk. We'll have to discuss and debrief what his thoughts were on that 10K after this next quartet.
We're unsure of the times on the board still, so just hold tight. We'll get the updated times with you shortly.
And we're ready with our second quartet. Some international skaters in this one, aside from Olivier Jean. Kuroiwa and Frenet will start this first pair of our second quartet.
And then the second pair of the last quartet is a good training buddy of mine, Olivier Jean, on the inner lane. Looks like he's up against Laurent Marcotte of Quebec in the outer lane. Olivier, as mentioned earlier during his previous race, he's comes from the short track event. Well, he's having some fun on the long track this season and hoping it can help him improve his short track in the long run.
Olivier, obviously coming from short track, one of our most decorated and dedicated Canadian Olympic heroes. Really, he's been a figurehead of the 2010 and 2014 Olympic team. From Montreal, trains out of Montreal when he's skating short track, but he has crossed over to the dark side this year, and we're very happy to have him out here in Calgary skating some long track.
Olivier doing a few marathons this year for the Canadian long track team while he was over in Europe. And his 38.75 opening lap may be a sign that he's done a few too many marathons. But down to a 33.47 for the first racing lap of his 10,000 meter race. And that'll probably be his target lap time. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings it down as we get 15 laps into this race.
And we will humbly remind you to tweet us any questions or comments. Obviously using the hashtag #FinallyFinale. This is quite a privilege to be here announcing these 10Ks with my teammate and good friend Denny Morrison. We're trying to bring the sport of speed skating a little bit to life here in Canada and across the world. So any interaction is much appreciated, because the Oval took a chance with this live stream, and we're really happy to be here. We've gotten great positive feedback, so please, hashtag #FinallyFinale. Any questions, comments, we're happy to answer them.
Looks like it's going to be another fun race for the timing system, as one of the pairs is quickly approaching the other pair from behind as they eventually cross the laser for the lap timers. As they're all mixed up, it can cause some real trouble for the people up here on the computer trying to sort it all out.
Good thing that we have photo finish, as here at #FinallyFinale, the Calgary Olympic Oval. It's run by professionals. We want to thank the ice makers, the volunteers, timing deck, everyone that has put in countless hours to make this competition such a success. I know I'm biased. I'm obviously born and bred here, but I think that skating in Calgary, especially at a competition like this, is magical. Hundreds of skaters showed up, dozens and dozens of international skaters from Japan, Norway, United States, Holland, and Switzerland. We're very, very grateful to have the opportunity to race against them.
Really solid 33 and 3/4 approximately second lap times by Olivier Jean so far in the race. Soichiro Koriowa from Japan coming out pretty fast in the start. It should be interesting as Soichiro eventually catches up to Olivier, who's left his pair behind. Soichiro has left his pair behind. Those two might be able to use each other a little bit as this race progresses.
Being in a quartet, do you think that that will help Olivier Jean? Obviously, he has strong roots in the short track sport, and I think that that could help him being able to chase a few of his competitors down. Right now, it looks like he's leading the pack, but I know him, and he's a competitor. He loves to race.
Yeah, and especially with his short track background, once he sees a skater out front of him, he's very tempted to at least stay with them at the very least, if not leave them in his dust as he has done with his pairing in this particular race. So probably another lap or two, and he will see the Japanese skater slide in front of him as he rounds the outer turns, and we might see Olivier Jean's lap times improve from what they currently are at a 34.0. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them back in the 33s in a lap or two.
And both skaters looking as though they've found a good rhythm. Olivier's motto on ice is to just be cool. He told me that before a 1500 that I was incredibly nervous in, and it really helped. Speed skating is a dichotomy in the sense that sometimes you have to try less to go faster, and unfortunately the hands down on the knees, I don't want to see that with a little more than halfway to go in this 10K.
Olivier back down to 33.93 as expected. The Japanese skater who caught him 33.33. As I mentioned in the previous pair, their lap times are coming closer together. Will Olivier continue to try to reel him in? Looks like probably not. With a 34.13, his pair doing a his quad pair doing a 33.55. But Olivier in a nice rhythm still, holding those low 34s. It's going to be very telling his next lap time. You know, from 33.9 to 34.1. If he can be below a 34.26 on this lap, I predict that he will be able to maintain that speed for the rest of the race. Unfortunately, he's lost a little bit more. It can be very discouraging when the quad passes you and leaves you behind. So we hope to see Olivier maintaining his speed. But he's going to have to start working hard here as we approach 9 laps to go. The great thing about these short trackers is that they're good at changing speed. So he's reduced his drop-off in this lap. That's a really good sign. And hopefully we'll see him continue to attack. If I was on the ice there, I'd be telling him to do a stronger arm swing in the turns. Try to keep his feet moving.
And we have a skater that is unfortunately withdrawn from the race. There's a few pucks on the track in that first corner. Let's hope that no one hits them. Olivier narrowly missed some of the pucks.
Olivier back down to a 34.1 for maybe getting a second wind here late in the race. Keeping the Japanese skater in his sights. It can be such a mental battle back and forth in your head. Oh, I'm good, I'm not good, I'm good, I'm not good. You got to keep telling yourself to keep going. For me, I have to keep telling myself to keep going about 23 laps longer than I want to.
And I don't even have a comeback to that because I have never once in my career skated 25 laps in a row. This is such a painfully gruesome race. It's hard to describe the lactic acid in your legs. I think that from a physiologically base point of view, track cyclists may be the only athletes to rival the lactic acid that pools in your legs in long track speed skating.
I'd agree with that. I'd put swimming up there as well. Swimming's full body, but you do float, so speed skating and cycling. Speed skating, you're supporting your body weight. That increases your lactic a little bit, but lots of debate about it. Olivier back down into the 34s, chasing his pair, I think, using his pair. And I should say, not his pair, but his quad pair, if you will. Just at a 34.06, Olivier. Now with a 34.21.
With 4 laps to go. At this point in the game, I would just be breaking it down to corners, I think.
4 laps to go, I believe, for Soichiro
5.
Hiroa.
Yes.
And 5, I believe, for Olivier, if I'm not mistaken. I'm glad I'm not working the timing deck, as I would be completely lost. And these are real professionals here working up at the Calgary Oval, making sure everyone gets their proper time and no mistakes are ever made.
And Olivier keeping it low in the low 34s, most definitely pacing with his quads pair. He's a fighter, and that's why we enjoy watching him.
You can see in a race this long that there's a certain lap time where any certain skater will be able to hold that lap time, and then there's a certain lap time where they'll be resting, they'll be feeling better, and there's a certain lap time where they can't hold that lap time. And it's a sort of an equilibrium to stay within that range, preferably at the fast end, 1/10 of a second or so within what you can hold for the entire race, like Ted Jan did when he broke the world record. But a less experienced skater in the 10K, such as Olivier coming from short track, has to play with the lap time a little bit more. And you can see his lap times fluctuating between 33.7 and 34.5. 34.5 is probably his resting range. 33.0 is probably the range he can hold really well, and 33.7 probably a range that's tiring him out a little bit. So fluctuating like that's, of course, going to create some inefficiencies, make the race a little bit more taxing, and build a bit more lactic. But he's kept it within that range nicely, and I really love the drive of Olivier. That's why he's an Olympic champion in short track. Never quits. In fact, I watched him in a marathon race in Holland about a month ago, and he fell off the back of the peloton. A lot of skaters at that point would just quit skating, but to be officially out of the race, you have to be double lapped by the pack, and he just kept skating laps until they double lapped him, thinking that as long as he can keep going, it's up to them to disqualify him, and that was a really cool and really inspiring thing to see.
And Kuroa crosses the line in 13:50. With a final lap time of 32.1, negative split. Final lap for Olivier Jean. And final lap coming of Laurent Marcotte.
Olivier's previous lap was at 34.6, and then he felt a bit better, so a bit of a final burst here. His previous lap, 34.39, and I bet he comes through with a high 33, finish with a smile on his face. 33.35. Laurent Marcotte now, rounding the last turn, coming down the last straightaway.
My back hurts just watching it. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the Denny and Buse Show. Denny Morrison and Anastasia Buses. We're here all weekend. Thank you so much for the dedicated listeners.
You can send fan mail to 2500 University Drive Northwest.
We have some new 8x10s actually being developed right now. It's a privilege to have commentated on this second last day of the 2016 Olympic Oval finale. We love speed skating, and we hope that we have given you some quality commentary. If it hasn't been, please tweet us and we'll try and make it better for the next time.
Tune in tomorrow for some more races. Mass start should be really exciting, and there's also the alumni races, which is past speed skaters who have been retired for between 1 and 45 years, coming out and racing to see where they stand in today's retired skater alumni races in support of the Branch Out Foundation.
Benefiting neurological research. It's close to our heart. Our dear friend and teammate, Crystal Phillips, unfortunately diagnosed with multiple sclerosis almost a decade ago now, but it feels like yesterday. So the speed skating community is coming together tomorrow to support Branch Out Bike Tour. Just Branch Out. They have a bike tour. They have a snowshoe tour. They've done great things, and we're excited to expand it to the speed skating world.
That'll do it for today, folks. Please meet us back here tomorrow for more speed skating action at the Olympic Oval in Calgary.
Over and out.